and kind of with George Fluke, he was this musical savant and did all this crazy stuff on drums, and like he went to a dentist.
Another. This guy's still like. Is
Dude,
it
What?
St. George from Excessive Strain?
Yes.
Yeah,
great
yeah.
human,
He was the
genuine,
first
on
drummer of
point.
Origin. He was the first
Okay.
drummer of Origin.
Yeah.
And he did this thing. I jam with him from time to time, but he was always so rooted and busy in his work. And anyway, he went to a Dennis Chambers drum seminar, and Dennis Chambers was doing this thing where he was doing like, let's see, he was doing a one-handed roll on a tom while he was doing
Hmm.
a beat. And so George is like, hmm, hey, how did you do that? Like George is kind of a
Yeah.
goof. He's like 6'8", but he's kind of a goofy guy. It's really funny, but please. And so he was like, "I'll take that." And he called me up, and he never called me. I always called him. I was the guy. Hey, you want to jam? You want to jam? Want to jam? Want to jam? Yeah, I want to jam. I want to jam with you. Anyway, he comes up to me. He's like, "Yo, man, I got something that's I can play a blast beat faster than your right arm now." And I was like, whatever, get out. And so he just showed up and just and did the thingy or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Gravity,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
and I was like, oh. And so that first time I ever heard that was when I wrote the first riff that Origin ever on the first Origin song I ever recorded, Lethal Manipulation. That was the first time I ever heard that beat. And so there you go. There's the start of that. So
I still have
um,
the. Is that how many demos did Origin do? Because you had that one that you redid recently, but there was
yeah,
there anything before
basically
that?
the coming into existence is the first and only original EP from that
Hmm.
time period. The thing that we re-released, Abiogenesis, was songs that I wrote like in the Crotomy and the Abomination,
Mm.
and basically the whole deal with that was Agonia wanted to release it coming into existence because they've been out of the print for a long time, and they asked me about, do you have any bonus material? I was like, yeah, but it's not really Origin. It's like stuff I wrote before Origin, and I played drums, bass, and guitar, and I made some recordings of it, and they were like super interested in it. And I was like, yeah, but it's not really Origin. It's like before Origin, uh,
Yeah.
and uh, and so they kept pushing me about it for like a couple years, and I had to go back and look for lyric sheets in my mom's house in the closet. I'm like looking through my old Playboys that I had, like when I was like 14 or whatever, and
You
these lyric
just
sheets,
stash your lyrics inside magazines, like,
Yeah.
all right.
So Origin,
Oh man.
the name Origin, it took a while for us to figure it out, but it was like the creation of something different. It's all, or
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
start of something different is all. I mean,
Coming
and it's
to
a word that
into
creates
existence.
question. Everyone has a different origin, so it can be more of a personal mission, But I, I just wanted something a little different. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
and it worked. It stuck out. And I mean, some people thought we were a stoner band before they heard us. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's
Nebula.
I'd love to see the reaction of a dude who was expecting a stoner rock album or
Yeah.
something, and then fucking an Origin song
He's
or
got a
Origin
Well,
Bongzilla shirt
band. Just
on.
yeah, Relapse. Was they had Bongzilla and
Yeah.
Nebula, and like they had Doom bands. So this is you could go to deathmetal.com, or I think that was the thing with the push button, right?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Deathmetal.com.
Damn.
deathmetal.com. That was a real thing, right?
Yeah. That was a
Yeah,
It
while
probably
ago.
still is, but I'm just saying, like
yeah.
back
It
then,
was
that was
That's
actually like
where
the
you would
source.
find little 8-second clips that you would wait 23 minutes to hear and be like, "Ooh, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna check them out." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Totally.
So,
Damn.
So okay,
but
so all right,
go ahead.
that first EP that you got it together and you self financed it, put it out
Hmm.
yourselves, right? It's there, no
Hmm.
record label helped you with that. That was an indie release.
Correct. Hmm.
Okay. So
And
did you
we got
go?
our first show with Origin open for Suffocation on our first show.
So that's how
Jesus.
that led to getting that gig, was passing that out,
No,
and then it.
uh, that came out right after our first show. Basically, I was jamming with George at Excessive Strain, and the original singer of Excessive Strain was in this new band called Down Banger, and they're the biggest thing regionally in the area at the time. And we played, it was Origin by Heavenly Created, Down by Anger, and Suffocation. And basically, I had never played a show in an actual club before.
Yeah.
And like my friend pushed Paul's. They're like, Paul's never played a show ever, like at a venue. He's only played, garage grinding, basement blasting, storage shredder. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
house parties and shit like that. You know what I mean? And so there was some resistance. We got on the show and opened for Suffocation, and I had like my mead notebook, and I just went up to people and was like, "Hey, if you like what you heard, write down your information, and I'll mail you flyers of our next show and our
Upcoming
what
stuff,
we're gonna
yeah.
release." And because I was that guy, Jeremy Turner would drive, I'd run out and just staple stuff to the telephone pole, and then run back in, drink slam half a beer, and the next stoplight, and like I wouldn't go anywhere without a handbill in my pocket, or like. And then we recorded the EP, and then I wouldn't go anywhere without that in my pocket. I would just hand it out. I would go. Now, again, I was centrally located, but I went to see Deicide and
To go
Death.
back, I want to go back real
Okay.
quick to the that first gig. So the
Okay.
anticipation of finally getting on stage in front of a crowd. I want to know what you were feeling before then, and also your reaction and response to the feeling after the show as well. Like,
Oh, okay.
of course you're
Somewhere.
nervous. You're like, I'm opening for fucking Suffocation for my first gig ever. You're just like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I met those guys in '93, and then we partied down with them, and Terrence got so wasted. I think Josh was their sound guy, because it was Chris Richards, and that's a whole nother story. But they didn't hear I had like a garage recording of the Abomination, and they checked it out, and I don't think they remembered me, but anyway, like I mean, Cerrito let me use this cab. You know what I mean? Like, we just used their back line, and they were cool to us. As far as like, I was super confident in our music.
That's a good.
But the crazy thing was, I didn't know what a monitor was then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how grindcore I was. You know what I mean? What is this strange thing producing sound of my sounds in front of me? It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
So that's how underground I was. You know what I mean?
So yeah, you were just learning what it was. Yeah, the
being on stage and all the fucking weird shit comes
extra
with it.
stuff that comes with it that you didn't realize. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, Doug Cerrito is like one of my earliest favorite guitar players, and Suffocation. And it was like, and I got to use Clinton was playing bass, and uses Chris Richards stuff, and Jeremy. We just used our own heads on their stuff, and
what
like
album
we
were
had
they supporting?
Despise the Sun.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, so sick.
And so, and Kevin Talley was the drummer live for that. It was the three heaviest bands at Topeka, and then Suffocation. So there was a good turnout. I mean, Suffocation was. I mean, there was 300 to 400 people there. I mean, and in '98, I don't think Suffocation was. Even though they put out a great EP, they weren't getting the big shows. And I mean, even Terrence is like, "Holy shit!" You know what I mean? Like, there was close to 400 people there on a Saturday night. You know what I mean?
Damn.
And the show went really well. I know they sold a ton of merch. I mean, the reaction to Origin was great. Like, my notebook filled up. You know what I mean? And
so you basically came out of that like amped, probably like, oh yeah, let's do this again as soon as possible.